Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video I'll be unboxing the OnePlus 7 Pro and sharing with you my initial impressions. So guys, here's the box, and right out of the box it has this sleeve with some information about the OnePlus community and how great it is. So if you're really into this stuff, check it out. And here's the box. So just like all the previous OnePlus phones, it simply has a OnePlus logo at the top. I know it's barely visible, but at the center it says 7 Pro. It has the same name on the left side and right side as well. Now on the back we have the regular information like the color variant, which is mirror gray by the way. Storage variant, this is the base variant, so it comes with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. You also get some more specifications like IMEI numbers and so on. So without any delays, let's open it up. By the way guys, in India this phone is sold exclusively online on Amazon.in and OnePlus very own store. And this one is available in 3 variants. Base variant is priced at 49,000 rupees, which comes with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. That's the one we have right now. It's available only in one color, that's mirror gray. Blue color might be available pretty soon. So inside this box we get a soft silicone pouch and another package, which probably has some documentation. So first it says OnePlus Go Beyond, I guess. So there you go. It's just a quick manual. Nothing important. Now this is another card from OnePlus with some product information. Next we have safety information, and that's followed by the SIM card ejector, which is missing in my case. So here's a soft silicone case that we get right out of the box. Personally, I like what OnePlus gave with the OnePlus 6T. It had a nice matte finish to it and felt slightly more reliable than this soft silicone case. Anyway, next we have a welcome invitation card. So this is how it opens up. A quick message from the OnePlus team. And next we have the phone itself. Let me just remove that. I'll come back to it in a second. Next we have the Type-C charging cable. So here it is. One of the most unique cables out there. And over here we have the warp charger. This charger has a maximum output of 30 watts and can instantly charge your phone. I'll talk more about it later. So guys, these are all the contents of the box, and now let's come back to the phone. So this phone comes in this plastic wrapping, and you get an IMEI number sticker as well. Let me just remove that as well. So guys, this is the mirror gray color, and this is how the phone looks right out of the box. I'm not sure if other colors are available for the base variant, but this is the one that you can get right now. Now this phone is definitely one of the best OnePlus phones ever launched. They've done a lot of great things with this phone, like a triple camera setup, warp charging. For the first time, it also comes with fluid AMOLED display. That's a Quad HD resolution display with 90Hz refresh rate. So that's going to be insanely awesome. It will also have a pop-up selfie camera, so there's not going to be any notch, and the bezels are super slim. So this phone is definitely one of the best phones OnePlus has ever launched. I guess it's a pretty risky move considering the price, but they did offer a lot of new things from the previous OnePlus 6T. For now, let me just put on the case. So it has all the basic cutouts. You even have a cutout for the front pop-up camera. And you have the small flap for the charging cable to give it a bit of water resistance. By the way guys, this phone is not IP certified water resistant, but it does provide water resistance. You can check out the video from Dave Lee for the water test. I'll leave a link for that in the description. Now this is how the phone looks on the back with the case on. It doesn't give you a lot of protection, but it just helps you with the grip and prevents smudges on your phone. So that's pretty cool. It has a slightly raised lip on the front and even for the camera module. So it does offer some kind of protection, but not a lot in terms of drop protection. So if you're really worried about dropping your phone, I would suggest you to get a case from UAG. That would definitely be my first suggestion. Now with that said, let's have a quick physical overview and then check out the complete specifications of this phone. On the back, this phone has a 3D curved Corning Gorilla Glass, which is super slippery, and a fingerprint magnet. And beneath that, it has a reflective pattern going on. There isn't much of a pattern, but it's just like a mirror with a slight grey hue to it. Now at the top, it has a triple camera setup with a 48 megapixel primary camera with f1.6 aperture with Sony IMX586 sensor. That's followed by an 8 megapixel secondary camera with telephoto lens with f2.4 aperture. And that's followed by a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with f2.2 aperture and 117 degree field of view. Following that is dual LED flash, OnePlus branding, and at the bottom, it just says OnePlus. Now on the front, you get a massive 6.67-inch fluid AMOLED display with Quad HD Plus resolution, 90Hz refresh rate with the new 19.5:9 aspect ratio. There is no notch, and even the sides are curved just like the latest Samsung flagships. Now the display on this phone is truly one of the best displays out there. Now with that said, above the display you get just the earpiece, which also acts like a secondary speaker. At the bottom it is completely plain and the chin is pretty small, like almost negligible. Now coming to the sides, on the right side you get the famous alert slider, which only OnePlus offers. Following that is the power button. On the left side it has just the volume buttons. Now these buttons are made of metal and have a nice clicky feel to them, but I wish they were slightly more elevated. Now at the top you get the secondary microphone for noise cancellation and the pop-up selfie camera. At the bottom you get the speaker grill followed by the primary microphone, USB Type-C charging port and a SIM card tray housing 2 nano SIM slots. Now inside this pop-up mechanism you get a 16 megapixel front-facing camera with f2.0 aperture with Sony IMX471 sensor. Now coming to the rest of the specifications, under the hood this phone sports the latest and greatest Snapdragon 855 processor with Adreno 640 GPU built using 7nm architecture. It also comes with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, which by the way is UFS 3.0. Right out of the box, this phone will be running Oxygen OS 9 based on Android 9.0, that's Android Pie. Now powering all this is a 4000 mAh battery. It also comes with a fast charger inside the box. OnePlus calls it warp charging and it has a maximum output of 30 watts. Now with all these things packed together, this phone has a thickness of 8.8 mm and weighs 206 grams, and that's definitely heavy. Now for some very quick initial impressions, phone definitely looks quite premium, especially because of the curved glass on the front and back, but phone is pretty heavy. Like the weight distribution on this phone is kinda bad, so it kinda leans towards one side and feels more heavier than other phones, which almost weigh 200 grams. I guess that's one of the cons in terms of design and build. So guys, now let me turn on the phone and see what we get right out of the box. So that's the first boot and it simply says OnePlus, powered by Android. Now let me quickly configure it. So this phone does come with an in-display fingerprint scanner and this is how you register it. And now I'm gonna register edges. It does take quite a bit of time. Now it's done. Let's just go on with it. So guys, this is the first boot and this is how the phone looks once we turn it on. And this is your launcher. You can swipe up for the app drawer. These are all your applications that come pre-installed. So these are the applications and you can swipe down to pull down the notification bar. You can do it again for notification toggles. Now let's go to settings. So guys, this is the about page and this phone is running Oxygen OS 9.5.3 based on Android 9.0 with April security patch. Now let's go to developer options. Now this is average memory usage. So we have about 3GB of free RAM right out of the box. Now let's check out storage. So out of that 128GB of space, we get about 108GB of space for our user apps and user data, which is more than sufficient for most people. Now here's the camera interface. Let me just give it permissions. So this phone does come with a triple camera setup, a regular camera, a telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom and a wide angle camera. So by default it always opens up in the primary camera mode, so capturing speeds also look pretty good, but it is kinda slow, like a fraction of a second. It's not very instant. Now to switch to the wide angle camera, we have the toggle over here. Now this is the wide angle camera, this is the regular camera, and this over here is a telephoto lens with 3x optical zoom. And even with the optical lens, there seems to be stabilization. Now for the video mode, by default it records video in 4K resolution at 30 fps, but we can also record in 4K resolution at 60 fps, 1080p at 60 fps and 1080p at 30 fps. By the way guys, as of now we can only record video using the primary camera. OnePlus might add support for the wide angle camera in the future, but the possibility is pretty slim. Now you can swipe left or right to change between all these modes. On the right side we get the portrait mode and the nightscape mode, and for additional modes you can swipe up. These are all the additional modes. Now on this phone, if you want to take a 48 megapixel camera, first you need to go to the Pro mode and then click over here and then select 48 megapixel. So only by doing that we can take 48 megapixel pictures. Now this is the interface for the front facing camera, and initial impressions, it looks pretty good. And on the left side we have video recording where it crops the footage for electronic image stabilization, and on the right side you get the portrait mode. By the way guys, whenever you switch between the front and rear cameras, you see a small indication near the pop-up camera. There you go. And it does make a little sound every time it pops up. So guys, this is the camera interface, and these are some sample pictures. Now let's test the speaker loudness. By the way guys, this phone comes with the stereo speakers. That's the first for OnePlus phone, and that's also one of the major improvements from the 60 to the 7 Pro. So here's the speaker loudness. Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video I'll be showing you the most important tips and tricks for your Samsung Galaxy A70. By the way guys, I'll be making a dedicated video in settings. Now select display and you can find night mode from here. Now once you turn this mode on, so guys, speakers on this phone, stereo speakers I mean, sound really loud. They're pretty great, but they can't be compared with other phones like the Pixel phones or the Samsung S10 Plus. They are still pretty good, pretty loud, but not the best. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. I've already set it up. Now this is a current setup. On this phone you don't have any feature like always on display. Instead you get ambient display. So when you lock your phone, the display is completely blank, but once you touch the display lights up, and this is the ambient display. Now you see the fingerprint scanner, and once you place your finger on it, it'll unlock. Now here's a quick preview. So it's more like a two-step process. You have to first touch the screen and then place your finger. There's no single step, I'm pretty sure about that. But as you have just seen, fingerprint scanner on this phone is insanely fast. Definitely faster than the OnePlus 60. But we have to just first wake it up and then place the finger. So there is a tiny bit of workaround for that. For that you need to go to settings, then select fingerprint, enter your password, and make sure you enable this toggle that's pick up your phone to show. So basically whenever your phone is lying on a table, you can just pick up your phone to wake it up and then place your finger. And now it becomes a single step process. Now I'll do it once more. Pick it up, wakes up, and I just need to place my finger and it unlocks. So make sure you enable these two toggles. First one is for the pickup gesture and the second one is tap the screen to show, which is basically this. Once your phone is sleeping, you can simply touch the screen to wake it up and then place your finger to unlock the phone. Now let's test face unlock feature. Now even though this phone has a pop-up camera, it still supports face unlock feature, but you have to either wake your phone or swipe up the lock screen. Let me quickly show you the settings for that as well. So here's face unlock. Once again, enter your password. Now these are the default two options. First one is to swipe up the lock screen. Now if you select the first option, when you lock your phone, try to unlock it. Now you need to manually swipe up the lock screen for face unlock to work. Otherwise it simply won't. Now the next option is to auto unlock when the screen is on. So once you do that, you can simply press the power button, display lights up, sees your face and unlocks your phone. Usually I go with this particular option. Sometimes it gets a bit annoying, but most of the time it's pretty useful. Now this phone also comes with some pretty cool gestures. So to enable that, go to buttons and gestures, then select quick gestures, enable double tap to wake. Now once you do that, once your phone is sleeping, you can double tap the screen to wake it up. Front camera pops up, sees your face, unlocks the phone. Now let me do that once again. So this is basically my setup. I just double tap the screen, face unlock works. Let's now see how good the face unlock is. So I'm going to use the power button and it's pretty fast. You just have to pop up the camera. We can still see the lock screen, but still it is pretty fast. Like it just needs time to pop up the camera, and once it's up, it immediately unlocks the phone. Now let's try it in low lighting conditions. So even in low lighting conditions, so far it's pretty fast. Now let me turn off all the lights. Now it is pitch black and there isn't anything, there's no light in this room, and in complete darkness it is taking a bit, probably like less than half a second. But the good thing is, even in complete darkness it still works and it is pretty usable. So guys, that was the face unlock. Now this phone still has the same old gestures that we have been seeing from OnePlus One. You also get screen off gestures. I usually go with O for camera, then V to toggle the flash. Once you enable those features, you can draw an O to open the camera application. There you go. We can draw a V to turn on the flash, and we can draw it again to turn it off. So you can also draw it on the always on display and it still works. Now this phone is exactly like the OnePlus 60 in terms of software experience, like you get all the same features. So you also get the dark mode or the dark theme. To enable it, go to settings, display settings, then scroll down and select theme. Now select dark and the dark theme gets applied. Personally, I like the dark theme over the regular theme. Now this is the ambient display, and if you want to tweak it, you can tweak it from the display settings. Just go to display settings and then select ambient display. Now you get the option to show it up when you pick up your phone or even touch the screen, and you can also change the clock style to something like this. Click save. Now once you're done, you can touch the screen to bring it up, and here's your different clock screen, and this is the ambient display. Now in the display settings, we can also change the screen resolution. This is the first OnePlus phone to come with a Quad HD Plus resolution, and by default it is set to auto switch. So depending upon what you are doing, resolution changes automatically to help you save some battery. If you really don't care about the battery and want to have the best experience or the best resolution, you can go with the Quad HD Plus resolution, or else if you want better battery life, you can switch to Full HD Plus resolution. As for me, I'll leave it to auto switch. Next, we also get to choose the refresh rate. By default it is set to 90 Hz, but once again if you want better battery life, you can switch it to 60 Hz. By the way guys, there is a difference between 60 Hz display and a 90 Hz display. I can't show you the difference in the video, but that's something you should definitely check out in person. So definitely give it a try, and personally I love the 90 Hz display, so I'll just leave the settings to there. Next, you also get the Android Pie based navigation bar, so if you want to give it a try, you can select the second option. And now you just get two buttons, back button and home button. Back button acts like a regular back button. Home button is a home button, but if you swipe up, you get the recent apps. And you can swipe the home button right side to switch between applications. Now this is a very nice concept, I really like it, but this navigation bar works really well only on the Pixel phones. Even on this phone, it's kinda buggy. So if you want, you can try the navigation gestures. So once you have selected navigation gestures, you can swipe on the right side or on the left side to go back. You can swipe from the center to go home, and you can swipe and hold for recent apps. Now you might wonder how to trigger Google Assistant if you're going to use the gestures. So for that, once again go to buttons and gestures and enable this toggle. Now once you do that, you can press and hold the power button to trigger Google Assistant. How is the weather?
Right now in Hyderabad it's for...
So that's Google Assistant, and if you press and hold the power button for like 3 seconds, you get the power options. There you go. Now besides that, if you go to the sound and vibration settings, you can find new settings related to the haptic engine. Now this phone comes with a new haptic feedback engine, and it is definitely better than the OnePlus 60, but once again it's nowhere nearly as good as the Pixel phones or even the iPhones. Once again, it's definitely a huge improvement, but still not the best. Anyway, if you want to tweak those settings, like if you want to change the vibration intensity, you can do it from here. And interestingly, you also get this incoming call vibration pattern, and if you set it to dynamic, haptic engine or the vibration motor works in sync with your ringtone. Basically, your phone vibrates in sync with the ringtone. So guys, if I just keep going on, this phone has really a lot of new features and a lot of interesting things to talk about, but I'll make another video for that. So for now, these are the Antutu and Geekbench scores. So guys, this is the new OnePlus 7 Pro. It's a huge improvement in terms of what OnePlus has been offering for all these years. I guess starting from OnePlus 3, 3T, 5, 5T, 6, 6T, there have been some changes, mainly the processor, cameras and the display. But OnePlus 7 Pro definitely brings a lot of new things to the table, like the triple camera setup, most importantly a Quad HD AMOLED display with 90 Hz refresh rate, the warp charging, new vibration motor. It's now even water resistant, not IP certified but still water resistant, and even stereo speakers. Right now the only thing that's missing on this phone would be wireless charging. They might add it with the OnePlus 7T Pro, or maybe not. Anyway guys, this phone is really awesome. I know the price is a bit high, but still it is pretty good for all the things it is offering. Just a side note guys, cameras on this phone are pretty good, but still nowhere near the Pixel phones. So that's one more thing that you have to compromise. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel, and if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.